Like, that's why we're trying to really push the period poverty stuff. Like, if people want to donate and they don't know what to donate your sanitary towels, because we will always like need those in abundance. And most of the shops and things,
And nappies.
yeah, and nappies. I think a lot of the time people think like, oh, hungry people, let's donate
Pasta.
food.
Let's give them pasta.
But it's like the toiletries and stuff. Like, toiletries can be cheap, but not everyone has the money to buy it. And when you're hungry and you're worrying more about putting food in your cupboard, I'm not worrying about buying shampoo and conditioner.
The amount of food we go through on a weekly.
Doors closing. Please mind the doors.
Yeah. And we get deliveries like this. So it's just a constant revolving cycle.
Doors closing. Please mind the doors.
Yeah, this is what they take home so that they can feed themselves. A lot of stuff goes into this, but I think especially now with COVID's kind of ending, people aren't donating as much as they used to. So before we used to have so much donations, now we're having to buy more and more each week to top it up, which is a shame, but it's meaning it's harder each week for us to help the same amount of people that we usually do. So we're having to like kind of decide, if we give less of this, we can give more of that because that's cheaper. But obviously we don't want to have to do that. We want to be able to just give people what they need each week.
So it is, hi guys. So it is World Hunger Day, and we are here at St. Barnabas Foodbank, North Finchley, with my friend, my colleague, Emily Spilsbury, and leader over here, Rachel Davidson.
Davidson, yeah.
Got it? Rachel, can you tell us, it's World Hunger Day today, and just being here and, you know, seeing the amount of people who, you know, go hungry, it was quite surprising for me, quite shocking, especially looking at some of the people. You wouldn't think, looking at them, you know, walking past the street, you wouldn't think that people are in this sort of situations. Can you tell me, just from the experience of what you've seen from setting up, you know, the types of people that you see coming in through the doors, and the number of people that you see coming through the doors week by week?
Right. Well, we started 2 years ago during lockdown, and the numbers slowly crawled up there. People had to queue outside, and we just give them a bag, no choice, this is what you get.
Wow.
But now we can open and we can serve people. We literally see everyone coming in, all kinds. During lockdown, we had a lot of people from Latin America.
Oh, okay.
Because they didn't get furloughed, they just got fired. They worked in the coffee shops and cleaning and things like that. So they ended up from probably having 3 jobs to nothing. So they would come here a lot. Now we don't see hardly any Latinos because they went straight back to work. They didn't want to get food from the food
We
bank.
had a lot of homeless people that we were helping that had suddenly got put into like hotels. So we had to make food parcels that were generic to them, because obviously they don't have a cooker and things. They don't have a microwave.
Right,
so we had to make generic parcels of things that obviously they could still eat, which was a struggle sometimes, but...
Now, we opened a food bank 5 years ago in East Finchley, and over the years there's a lot of people with addictions that come there, whereas here we don't really see that. We get a few
drinkers, but not many.
It's people just caught up in the poverty trap now that are coming here. And one girl came, she said, "You've been a lifesaver."
And who these type of people, are they typically like, are they getting any sort of help from the government? Is it that because they're not getting help from the government, they can't, or even with the help of the government, they're still struggling? How does it
both.
work?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and some people just don't budget right. I mean, it is, especially if you're on benefits, you can't afford to go in debt. You can live off benefits if you're very careful and not in debt.
But if your benefit
As soon
is
as
just
the
paying
washing
your debt,
machine breaks down, you go to a catalogue, you buy a new washing machine, you are stuck.
And then obviously COVID hit, so everyone was at home, their electricity bills went up, gas bills went up. They've now got their kids there all day going, "Mom, I'm hungry." Like, so you're constantly having to feed them, and suddenly that thing that you had to just about stretch was only covering 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's
So,
crazy.
We had that, and then people. There's also refugee people that have been given asylum. They have a right to stay, but no access to public funding.
Yeah.
How does that work? So
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah.
You have
They
a
have
right to
so
stay
many
here.
people.
They don't even. They get nothing. They
Yeah.
can stay, but they get no support,
Wow.
and they're not allowed to work.
Yeah, we've had so many people come here that have maybe been like pregnant and things, and they've just turned up in the country and they've literally got nothing. So we try and pair up with some of the other food banks that are slightly bigger that have warehouses where they store a load of baby things, and we can provide prams and cots and car seats. Obviously, it's a lot limited. We can't do that for everyone.
I have one car seat for newborn babies that I
Pass
rotate
from person to
because you
person.
can't take your baby out of the hospital unless you have a car seat.
Yeah.
So when they're due, I give them their car seat.
That's crazy.
And
though.
one lady, she came back today. She had a cesarean 3 days ago. And she just came back to thank us.
She had a
and give me a
cesarean
hug,
3 days ago, and
Yeah.
she had to come here today.
just to thank us.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's heartwarming, but then at the same time, it's scary and alarming. You think
Yeah.
that, particularly refugees are coming in, probably don't speak the language,
No,
being
yeah.
brought into the country, but you're not allowed access to benefits. You're not allowed to actually work.
Yeah.
Then
No.
what do they expect to happen?
I don't know.
That's why we step in
Yeah.
and things like this,
And
because without
if-
us, they wouldn't be helped.
So normally people can come every week for 5 weeks. Especially the first time they come, they usually, it's like people that don't pay their mortgage, they wait till it's too late. Rather than,
They're
you know.
always,
So
I've had
they-
my
they-
cupboard empty for weeks.
And then
Yeah.
they finally come here, so we really pile it on the first week.
I can imagine it's a big deal for people, though. I can understand why.
Yeah, oh
you
yeah.
Would, you would
Yeah.
because there's that connotation as well of going to a food bank. Like before coming here today, the type of people I expected to see people who looked visibly
In
poor,
rags.
visibly
Yeah.
homeless or something that they look like, and that's
Some
not
do.
what they. Some might,
Yeah,
but
it's just
the
your
majority
everyday
didn't.
people.
They're everyday
No.
people.
Yeah,
No.
they just need that extra little bit of help to make what they have stretch.
After 5 weeks, they come monthly,
Mm.
so we don't get dependency. But there's other food banks they can go to. It's
Right.
just us monthly. But if they can't get public funding, we can make, or if there are benefits, they have been sanctioned sometimes. You've got 3 kids and you've been sanctioned, you get
Yeah.
nothing. So we let them come every week, and we try to.
That's crazy. So talk me through then how, because obviously I think it was Helen, right, as the original founder, right? But
Yeah.
how did this all come to be? I know that St. Barnabas is a church, but this is a separate thing, right? This is.
It's one of the ministries of church,
Right.
so we don't have to pay for using the space and everything.
Right. But where did the idea come from to say, you know what, that space upstairs, there's all these hungry people out there, let's do something, let's help. Where did that come
I don't
from?
think there was a space when we first
No.
started. We used to do it in the church because it was fine, it was locked down.
Right.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, when the space was created for us,
Yeah.
it's basically Helen had the vision, but I've been helping her since the day
Since the
I was
beginning.
with her in the other food bank as well. so,
Yeah. What sort of research do we have do we know any statistics of like how many people in this area or in London in general?
We don't, but one of the people that is a trustee, because he's one of the churchgoers here, is Professor George Gumble. He's done research on it.
Yeah.
He's done with Barnett White research
Yeah.
to see, and
Yeah.
well,
But I think
we
we
give him the
feed-
numbers that are higher, and he says they're going up. I went,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
we're
Wow.
feeding about 400 people every week, and that's just at this food bank alone.
And it's going up.
Yeah, and it's
going up.
rising every single week. I think today we had 20 new people come to us that have never used our food bank before, but they're 20 different families that are now in need. So some of them were just single people, some of them were families, but there was 20 different people that came to us today with a household that needed support.
That's crazy. And is it just the Mondays that it's open?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So week on week, 300-400 people coming through. That's crazy.
yes.
How does it work? How does somebody, like, how do they find their way here? Is there some sort of, because I'm sure the first thing they do is not look online and say, where can I get free food?
Well, it's word of mouth.
Yeah,
Okay.
word of
And
mouth is
also
really big.
we get a lot of referrals. People have clients. Can I send them? So yeah, they don't need a referral to come here.
Referral, how do you mean?
Well, they tell the job center say if you have no food,
Right.
go there.
So the job centre sends
Yeah, so
people.
before
Then they
you
phone
used to
me
have
and-
to have like a ticket kind of referral thing, and you'd go to a food bank and you'd get your emergency like cardboard box of supplies for 3 days, and you had to make that last. And if you didn't have that referral, and to get that, you'd have to literally sit with someone and go, I am incredibly poor.
Yeah,
This is
go
how
to
much
social
money
worker,
I have.
yeah.
I pay this much for my bills, and you have to go through so many loopholes to prove that you are someone that is genuinely in need.
You could
and that
only
takes
come
time.
3 times in
Yeah.
6 months.
That's demoralising.
So
as
now
well.
we're
It's
just like,
embarrassing.
it's a free for all. We do it on a basis of trust. If you need help, you can come to us. You don't need a referral. We're not going to ask you for this form and that form and the other thing. You just turn up, let us know how many people are in your household, whether you eat meat or not, and we can provide you with a food parcel. That's a lot more than 3 days worth of emergency food.
Sometimes people, I have the phone of the food bank that's online. So sometimes they phone me and they're totally stuck without anything. And if they don't live in Edgeware, it's a bit far, but I'll
Yeah.
pop something off to them.
That's amazing. Even
If I
bring it
can,
to them
if I
you
can.
Yeah, you're always picking up food from different like
Yeah.
shops to bring it here so that like the surplus doesn't get wasted. Because food waste is just as an
Yeah.
important thing, and we supply a lot of our staff is surplus food that's still perfectly edible that would have just got thrown in the bin.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that, like where the food comes from primarily, because I know that, you know, we made a little donation, I'm sure others are making a donation, but really, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, there's so much food wasted
Yeah.
by corporations, the restaurant industry,
Well,
supermarkets. Where are you getting
There
the
is
food?
one company, they're called Helping
Yeah,
Hands?
helping hands, I think
Helping
it is.
Hands, and they contacted a lot of the supermarkets, and they're getting different charities to pick up the waste.
Right.
I've had to say no to some because I can't go 3 times a week to Boreham Wood. I can't afford the petrol. But I pick up in Marks and Spencer's, and the Aldi is right next to my house. I get their basket.
And they're giving it for free.
They give it
Yeah.
for free. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
And then the people in church and also other people, they give money.
Mm-hmm.
So then we got a big Sainsbury's orders this morning.
Yeah.
We paid for that.
Yeah.
And there's
The golf club.
the golf
Uh,
club, the pub,
Yeah, we get a few
school.
things.
Some schools.
Yeah, some
Schools
schools
as
will
well.
donate
Yeah,
things.
schools, they do a special thing. to
Especially at
help.
Harvest Festival. I think we get so much stuff at Harvest Festival because all the schools support the food banks. And I mean, we don't expect people to do it all the time, but yeah, schools could have a basket there all year round. And if it means that like you bring us 1 can of beans, or we have to come and collect 1 can of, it's 1 can of beans more than we had before.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be mass amounts, but just having that basket in your reception at school,
I do remember
like,
that
things
as
like
a
that,
kid,
so you
yeah.
can just pop
Yeah,
Go
it
and
in.
bring in the little tin. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
knew
it
what
teaches
was
kids
We
from
always
a
have to
young
check the
age.
dates of those because kids
Yeah.
go,
Mom, I need
oh,
something.
Mum, I need, oh,
Back in the
take
cupboard.
these artichokes that are 3 years old.
about. Oh, man.
But it teaches the kids from a young age as well, like to not be selfish, to give when they might have more than other people. And then if you teach that from a young age, then as they start to grow up, they're much more likely to be giving people. If you've gone your whole life not really giving, and then you're suddenly asked to give,
You go,
It-
why?
yeah, people don't understand. I think a lot of the time, until these people have been in need themselves, they don't realise just what it's like. And then once they've been in need, when they get out of that tough situation, they're much more likely to help.
I
Like with
have
a lot of
people
our
coming
volunteers.
round, yeah.
A lot of our volunteers, like myself, were people that used to use the food bank personally, got into a better situation, and now we want to give back. So we
Yeah.
volunteer our time, or we donate food, things like that.
How do you think, I was going to say, what are the biggest challenges you feel in terms of getting the help, the volunteers, but also getting in front of the people who actually need the support? What would be the biggest challenge or the biggest obstacle to getting that message out to people?
I think it's just having the different platforms. Like we don't have really like a social media team here to kind of
Helen
constantly
Helen
promote
is our
us.
social media team. She does all the Facebook posts and
Yeah.
everything, and then she organizes the team, who's coming, who's going to be on what,
Right.
and I track in all the food and drive in my little
Yeah.
TARDIS car.
Well, even talking about like volunteers, like today, you know, the guinea pig squad, we were all here, and it felt actually like light work, right?
Yeah.
If you're telling
Because
me
you were
that
all here.
Yeah,
because we
all
were
here.
here, right?
We
But-
don't have, I mean, some of our volunteers are regulars
Mm.
that come every week, but it is volunteering at the end of the day. So
Mm.
people are giving up their time. So some people can do it once a month. So we never have a set structure of how many volunteers we're going to have each week. And you might have, some of the people will stay specifically on their stations, but we have a lot of people that just kind of float to
here,
random
yeah.
table with the random things we have this week that are extra. Or you might be on the fresh fruit and veg table. I might put you on tea and coffee. I might put you on packing, because we never have a set number of volunteers that we can continuously rely on. I think
we-
Friday, like, we're struggling a little bit.
Friday there was 2 volunteers and me.
Wow.
We had to unpack all the, we had to load everything that was there.
Yeah, Monday we can kind of normally chop and change, because the regulars that
Yeah.
we do have are really good regulars. But Friday we don't
Oh,
have.
we have super good
Yeah.
regulars, but
Our
if one
our
of them
regulars.
has to do something else, or
You know, it's
Then
different.
we're
suddenly
gonna have the
there's a
holiday
knock-on.
season soon.
Half
you know.
terms, they're always hard because a lot of our volunteers have kids.
Well, one couple, they come, the Woos, they're very good, but they have 2 kids. So come holiday,
You lose them, and then
that's
a
my
massive part
that's
of your
my team gone.
Yeah.
It's half my team.
But it's like what you were saying about the schools and engaging young people. I think, you know, the more we can do, and this is where I was sort of going to, you know, what are the challenges? Like, I can imagine a school being very up for saying, yeah, class blah blah blah, they're going to go and help out on this week, and class that they're going to go
Yeah,
and
the
help
thing
out
is,
on
we
that week.
can't have kids helping us.
The health and safety.
They have to be 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was something you mentioned earlier about, you know, talking about health and safety and stuff like that. How challenging is that? Where, you know, this is, as you said, it's all on trust, in comparison to the other one. Maybe you can talk me through a little bit about that.
I mean, it's hard because obviously you do have to take people.
We
on-
had
on a
one
trust
chap
basis.
coming, and he had the cutest 3 kids, but he also had about 4 names, and he was coming every week, and we kept going like, you know, these kids look very familiar.
Yeah.
So we
So
finally
people-
called
he
Tom.
was-
There
wow,
is there
people
is
abusing
always
Yeah.
there is always
Yeah.
some that try it, but
But then
In
what
the
about
end.
as well when we're talking about sort of like allergies and this sort of thing? You
Yeah.
know?
We have like a separate section of staff which is like gluten free.
it's called Weird and Wonderful.
The weird and
Weird and
wonderful.
wonderful.
We love our
It's
weird and
for-
wonderful.
For vegans, gluten free, brown sugar, and
Vegetarians,
We had
anything
this
that's a little
guy
bit.
today, one of the brown sugar, said, "You want some brown rice too?" He went, "Yes, please." "You want some brown pasta?" He went, "No."
That's disgusting.
I know it is disgusting, but we do have it. So.
The thing that gets me is when people request that like easy cook pasta and easy cook rice, and you like, I didn't know the other rice and pasta was hard to
Yeah.
cook. That we needed
Yeah,
an
yeah.
easy version
I
of it.
know.
Yeah, that must be annoying.
They're lucky because if I was organizing it, they'd get some garlic and a tin of tomatoes. They would get pasta sauce.
Make it up yourself.
I seen some recipe cards, but then maybe with fuel poverty that wouldn't help either. So.
Yeah, I mean that's really what I wanted to go down, because you know we are a research fieldwork agency, so we basically help research agencies and brands to find the type of people who might buy their products or might be interested in buying their products, yada yada yada, and bring them over to do research focus groups. You've seen what we do.
Yeah.
One of the big issues that the research industry faces is being able to speak to what we call hard to reach audiences. Audiences like people who are immigrants or refugees, or people who are really struggling and going through poverty. Just based on what you see day to day, what do you think would be the best way for organizations like us to reach those people? What do you think some of the barriers might be? Like, you know,
I mean, I
dealing
think
with
you
them
said it
themselves.
yourself, like the type of people you thought you were going to see today were very different to the people that you actually saw today. And I think people just automatically assume that like we're going to be one very generic type of absolute poor, homeless, like, but that's not the case. There are many levels. So coming to charities like us and realizing that we don't just have that one generic audience, we have a vast audience, is then a great way for you to get all those people, because the diversity that walks through our door every day, from ages, nationalities, like family situations, all those boxes that the market research industry always want to constantly tick, they're constantly walking through the food bank every day. And just like all the other charities that offer support, they're not just helping that one particular audience. That audience covers such a large group, which is the people that market research want to find.
It's a very good point actually, because you know the stuff that we see.
Yeah.
The clients already have a picture in mind, what they're called the buyer persona or something.
Yeah.
The persona of what they expect it's going to be. If it's going to be homeless, then obviously they've got to be in rags, when actually homeless can be in a three-piece suit.
Yeah,
you know?
because the crash only happened yesterday. You
Yeah,
know,
it can
they
happen.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, really, we benefit most. Some people do. They just buy one or two items regularly. Like, we had a charity that used to supply us with period stuff, but they haven't been for a while. But we knew, you know, they do that, and if the big companies just giving a whole bulk, we had like we had a pellet of
Rice. We had one shop that
Yeah.
would constantly bring us like big packets of rice, and then we could take those rice and split them into individual little bags, so that one rice could then feed like 10 different families at least, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
and the shop
having
across the road, he gives a trolley full of nappies once a week.
so that's helpful, having those shops donating like a bulk of one thing, so we know we can rely on that. But then obviously they don't do it consistently because of their situations as well. Like we can't rely on them, but then we
these are
struggle.
typically small businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the research industry as a whole? It's a broad question, but I'm looking for ideas. The
There you
research
go,
industry.
Em.
No. I want
Yeah,
Rachel.
yeah,
You got to
yeah.
get in this as well. This is why we're here. You know, the research industry as a whole. We are not businesses that supply food. We're businesses that advise businesses that might supply food. What role could the research industry play to try and help end hunger, support organisations like this one? Do you have any ideas of what people can do?
I think just reminding them that like that's where their audience is, because I think that people do forget that their generic audience is walking through these doors every day. So when they want all these different opinions and stuff, like you've got all this money to spend on creating a new product, you've got all this money to spend on creating the market research that you want. If you've got the money for that, then chances are you've probably got the money to help those people that you're trying to get the opinion from in the first place.
I think
Tie in the
what
two.
would really, really good is if they made something that was actually healthy and cheap.
Yeah.
You know, because just because you're poor, you don't want to eat all this rubbish and all processed food. So if there was good quality at affordable prices,
Yeah,
that
that's
would
true.
be, even if we had to buy it for them, but it would help.
But do you feel like the message is really spelled out to these big food companies about, you know,
I think
people who are really struggling?
more these days, like if you've got companies like Olio, which are like surplus food companies that work with the big like Tesco's and things like that, they take all their surplus food, and then food work heroes, like members of the public, will just go and volunteer their time to collect that food, take it to their house, photograph it all, put it up, and then people can come and collect this free food. So the supermarkets are doing more, but honestly, I think it goes past like the supermarkets. It should be a government thing. I genuinely think that there should be a law that says you have to donate your surplus food somewhere. Because like these big companies get charged for throwing their waste away. But if they're a big enough company that paying for that waste, it doesn't matter to them. If there was a law that says you physically cannot throw that in the bin, that is edible food, there are people that are hungry, find a charity, find a volunteer, donate it. Like the shops don't have to personally bring it to us. A lot of these places have the people to go
as far
there.
as making products,
Yeah.
that
It just seems to be processed stuff is really cheap.
like on the radio now, I heard this morning, they're going to stop they wanted to stop buy one get one free offers on sweets and bad food. Now they're going to stop that because everybody is poor, so they need that. Why don't they put the offers on something healthy?
Yeah.
You know.
Now buy one get one free on a tin of baked beans.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you know, don't push all the rubbish on everybody. We need to. Sorry, I'm I'm into healthy
I'm enjoying
eating,
it.
and it should be affordable for all.
Yeah, no, I totally see that, and you know the amount of fresh fruit, and but you're right. There was so much tins and so much processed stuff as well. Just what I saw today, and it is if you walk down the supermarket aisles, you do see the cheaper the things, the more it's like, is that even human food? You know?
Yeah, the more additives and.
It's strange. Okay, well,
But period poverty, that is such a big thing. I wish
tell me more about that.
that sanitary towels and stuff are so expensive.
Mm.
And in society, we've kind of learned that, like, if you are hungry, you can kind of miss that meal. I'll have the next one. Or, like, I'll let my kids eat so that I can go hungry at the moment as long as my kids are fed. You can't do that with a period. Like, when you're on your period, you're on your period. You need the stuff. And if you genuinely are poor and can't afford it, like, that's why we're trying to really push the period poverty stuff. Like, if people want to donate and they don't know what to donate our sanitary towels, because we will always need those in abundance. And most of the shops and things,
And nappies.
yeah, and nappies. I think a lot of the time people think oh, hungry people, let's donate
Pasta.
food.
Let's give them pasta.
But it's like the toiletries and stuff. Like, people, toiletries can be cheap, but not everyone has the money to buy it. And when you're hungry and you're worrying more about putting food in your cupboard, I'm not worrying about buying shampoo and conditioner.
That's true.
Well, eventually you're going to start to smell.
Yeah.
So here, let's provide some toiletries.
That's why we give everybody a bar of soap.
Yeah.
Because with a bar of soap you can do
Laundry,
everything. You can wash your hair if you have to.
We try and give shampoo and stuff like that, but it gets to a point when you run out of funds to continuously help. And I think people are so quick to donate the food side of things, and then the nappies, the baby milk, the toiletries, all things that are really needed, like the period pad, they all get kind of just forgotten about, and they're just as important as that tin of baked beans or that loaf of bread.
Even pet food. What we
Yeah,
saw
pet
there,
food.
pet food was something I never would have expected to see at a food bank.
No.
Yeah.
But once you see it there, it's like, of course, yeah, people have their pets. They don't
But
want them to
then
starve.
it's, if we don't have it, we don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try and keep that as if people donate that to us, but we would
that's a good
much
thing.
rather spend the money that we have on feeding the people than the pets.
We bought oil this week, but we can't sustain that. It was $2.50 a bottle.
Yeah, £2.50 a bottle. And you
Wow, for that oil, that's £2.50 a bottle.
Because there is no. But I figure if the
Wow.
whole of England doesn't have oil, then the food bank will just have to go without it as well, you know.
So, all right, so people who are watching this video, they might be companies, they might be individuals, they might live locally, they might live far away. What are the different ways that they can get involved, they can help somehow?
Well, my number's on Facebook on the food bank.
Yeah, we're gonna put the links to the
They
food
can
bank.
phone anytime, and we'll tell them what we need
Are you
on that
taking
week.
financial donations?
Yes, please.
You're taking
Yes, please.
food?
Yes, please.
You're taking
Anything,
volunteers?
yes.
Yeah, everything.
Volunteers.
Okay.
There is nothing we don't take.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And let's
No.
say somebody was living in an area where they're quite far, but there isn't something like this set up. How easy would it be for someone to try and do something like what you guys have built?
We
up
started on bank holiday on a Saturday. By Monday we had the food. We had nothing when we started on Saturday. It was not, the tables were bare. But
Wow.
then we were in the church, so we asked Facebook.
Here?
Yeah.
Our vicar is magic with Facebook.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
shame. I
she-
wanted to meet her, but maybe next
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
We'll have to do something with Helen.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But
Definitely.
yeah, just advertise it. It's easy if you have the passion for it.
Because there's people everywhere who need it.
Yeah.
Because you can start it from your back door. You start with your neighbors. I have, where I live, 3 of my neighbors get food from the food bank because they need it.
Wow.
One of them, the chap, he had COVID and now he's disabled.
Yeah.
He walks with a stick, and so I take it home in the cart for him.
There's another question there. Is anyone who might be watching who may have never considered going to a food bank, what would you say to these people if they...
If you need it, come.
I say this all the time. Like, I see so many people on Facebook going like, "Hi, I'm hungry. Like, can anyone give me some food?" And I'm like, don't cut off your nose despite your face. Like, if you've got to the point where you know that you're in trouble, don't sit there, don't struggle, come here, because we ain't going to judge
There's only
you.
2 things we need: a trolley and someone that needs food. Just, you know.
Shopping trolley. If you can bring your own little like shopping trolley to put your stuff in.
And an extra bag.
Yeah, because people they turn up with that one little carry bag thinking they're going to get that like emergency, like refugee almost parcels that you see.
Crates today.
But you get like a whole crate of fruit, fresh bread, surplus pastries, all the tin stuff. Your
We've come a
toiletries.
long way, because all they used to get was 2 tins of veg.
Yeah.
Now they get fresh. And
Yeah.
And the fact that they can come in, they can sit down, they get to have a cup of tea and coffee while they wait, it's opening it back up to the community. Because before they did just have to like stand outside,
In the
queuing
queue.
up in the rain, in the cold for hours. They'd come to the window, here's your bag, on to the next one. And we'd pre-make those bags, so everybody got generically the same thing, because we didn't have the time or the means.
we had different
pack-
bags. We had vegetarian bags, meat
Yeah.
bags, hotel bags. That meant they couldn't cook.
Yeah. No microwave.
So
no
we
nothing.
had
Yeah.
all the different bags, but that was it.
But look, it's been really eye-opening. It's been a pleasure for me actually coming today, helping out. And, you know, although I don't know about every week, I think once a month, something like that, we'll try and work a routine. I would
That'd
love
be
to come
See,
back.
it's on camera now,
And
Theo.
help out.
That's like technically black and white. We've got it.
It is
It's
kind of
contracted.
binding, you know,
Yeah.
a court of law, that is binding.
You are, you know, you're on the road.
We've got it now.
We'll
Yeah.
include you
No,
in the
come in.
WhatsApp group, and you'll get the.
Honestly, come in. I found it really, really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great thing. This is why I wanted to carry on doing it.
Yeah.
And not give it up when working with you.
Yeah, no, when she was going to start, we did say,
I
you
know.
know, and then she
I was
said,
like,
no,
"Nah,
I've got this.
got
I
it
said,
here,
She had
"Okay,
to
no,
give up
keep
the
it."
Friday.
And
Keep
now
it.
look how much they're struggling because you've stolen me on a Friday.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to gain some extra help on the occasional Monday
Yeah.
as well. No, look,
That's
thank you so
good,
much for
that's
having
good.
us, all of us.
welcome.
Thank you for talking to me, and thank you for the work that you guys do here, because
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
You
thank
know.
you for helping us.
it really helps. It really helps.